The Working Outside Gender Binary, hosted by the Dolores Huerta Labor Institute. I would like to ask each and every one of you to shut your cell phones off for a moment in the next 2 hours. It's okay. And we actually have a representative with DHLI, Dolores Huerta Labor Institute, here right now who will be presenting to us.
Hi guys, my name is Kennedy. I work with the Dolores Huerta Labor Institute, which is a district-wide labor studies program of the LACCD. And this event we're sponsoring and with instructor Paul Hicks. And basically it's part of our initiative Labor STEP, which stands for Students Educating Peers. And essentially what it is we've been working with faculty this year to incorporate projects into their classrooms, to bring dynamic speakers to the campuses, and to have students work in collaboration with each other and their faculty to educate other students on campus about topics related to labor and social justice. So if you have any questions about the Institute and our programs, I'm sitting in the front with all this gear. You can just come up to me afterwards. Thanks.
Hi, we have several panelists with us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Drian Juarez and I work for the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Center, where I'm in a program called the Transgender Economic Empowerment Project, where we assist trans people in finding trans-friendly employment, transitioning on the job, or advocating for their rights on the job.
And my name is Professor Paul Hicks. I teach in the philosophy department here at Pierce College. My research interests, at least the last few years, have been into the metaphysics of gender, the nature of gender, and how the patriarchal society actually influences the identity of gender in our lives.
Hi, I'm Crystal Kiko. I'm Associate Dean of Student Success and Basic Skills here at Pierce College, and the Faculty Advisor for the Gay Straight Alliance. My work is in campus climate for LGBTQ students and community college campuses. And what I examined for my dissertation was how those students view climate and how that perception and those experiences affect students' engagement in educationally purposeful activities.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carolyn Weiss. I am a regional director for the Community Development Department, the Central West region. I've been a city employee now for almost 32 years, and I came out to the world about a little more than 12 months ago. And ever since then, my friend and colleague Drian has kind of pushed me through a bunch of different doors into advocacy, and my life hasn't been quite the same since. Nice to be here.
As you'll have noticed, we have no mic, so please bear with us. If you can't hear, move closer. Make your ears better. I have no suggestions for you on that. Paul Hicks is a member of the philosophy department at Pierce College. He received his MA from California State University in 2008 with an emphasis of philosophy, religion, metaphysics, and ethics. Since leaving school, his research interests have focused on sex and gender with special attention to the metaphysics of gender, and he hopes to answer questions like the nature of gender, how do gender roles create identity, how does a patriarchal society influence both gender and sexuality, and how does patriarchy influence sexual intercourse. And now I present to you, Paul Hicks.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you guys for showing up. This is certainly one of the issues in philosophy and society that I'm really interested in, dealing with what exactly is gender, what exactly is sexual orientation, and how does that really influence the people that we are? How does that tell us who we are as a person, as an identity, as a self? What does it mean to be the I? My general belief on that is that the self or the I right? That soul or spirit, that mind, that thing that you are, right? Outside of that physical skin and body, is a conglomerate of social and political identities. And these are all constructed from society, and for the most part, they're not natural, right? Nature doesn't decide for us. Okay? Nature does not tell us, I do not believe, whether or not we are a man or a woman. Now, I know a lot of students like to throw up their hands when I say this, because most of you, including myself, were raised in a society which says that if you have a penis, you're a man. And if you have a vagina, you're a woman, right? And that is supposed to be the end all and be all. And if in fact you have a penis or a vagina, then you're supposed to act in certain ways. You're supposed to behave in certain ways. You're supposed to sexually be attracted to, the opposite, right? The problem is that reality doesn't actually work out that way, right? It just doesn't. There's the sociologist Harold Garfinkel from UCLA argued that there's this natural attitude towards gender. And if I can sum up some of the characteristics for you, is that there are two and only two genders. Most people seem to believe that, right? And that the essential determinant of gender is your genital status. And also that that gender is in fact invariant, meaning that whatever you're born with, penis or a vagina, is what your gender is. You cannot change that. And also that everybody is born with either a penis or a vagina. Now he does happen to make a little note in one of his characteristics where he says, any exceptions to this that might be given are not to be taken seriously. Well, I'm a philosopher. I take everything seriously. I don't accept this idea that, if I've proven you wrong, then I've proven you wrong, haven't I? Right? If I've shown you an example where your theory cannot account for it, then there's something wrong with your theory, right? And if your pre-theoretical theory about what the nature of gender is penis and vagina, is this natural attitude, then I can prove you wrong, right? How? Well, a few ways. One, not everybody's born with a penis or a vagina, right? There's a condition by which we call intersexed, right? Some people, when we all start out in the womb, we all start out with the same template, right? Which is often referred to as a female template. And then a protein activated by the Y chromosome produces androgen. Well, this begins to differentiate what the body actually does, or how the body actually forms. Not only mounds that will either form into a clitoris or a penis, or whether or not certain skin's actually going to form into be a scrotum, or it's going to form and be a labia, but also your brain is very heavily influenced at this time, especially in the first trimester, right? Your entire nervous system is being developed at this time. And sometimes too much androgen is released, sometimes not enough androgen is released. And you can not just be on what would be typically seen as the male side or the female side, but you can get caught in between. And this is nature, guys. This is completely natural that this happens, right? One of the things that I want to question, however, is why is it that certain characteristics are going to tell us what sex is, right? So we can differentiate a little bit between biological or anatomical sex and the social construction of what gender is itself, right? So biological sex. Some of the characteristics we often attribute to this are chromosomes, hormone levels, genital status, etc. The presence of breasts or not. But why is it we choose these? Really, why do we choose these given characteristics? Because you know what? The brain also has characteristics, right? Certain parts of the brain have characteristics. And there are masculine and feminine parts of the brain, right? So what we could do is that if in fact, assuming that you died, we can take your brain out. Right? It's a very messy process when you're still alive. But if we take your brain out and we actually examine the structures of your brain, we can tell certain things about it. We can tell certain things about you. whether or not you considered yourself masculine, whether you considered yourself feminine. We can tell things about your sexual orientation. There's quite an array of information that simply brain structures tell us, right? Okay, well, what does this mean? Well, what it means is that biological sex, what we typically see and should diagnose somebody as male or female, is penis or no penis, right? But why that? Why don't we diagnose with, parts of the brain instead? Why is it that we have to focus in on this given characteristic? Well, one answer to this, I believe, is because of the human desire, or at least for some humans, not all humans, to reproduce, right? For a desire for heterosexual engagement. Well, not everybody's heterosexual, right? And not everybody's heterosexual in the same way. Well, if this is true, then not all people are going to fit in these socially constructed characteristics for the nature of gender. It simply isn't going to happen, right? So we have founded, and the feminist Monique Wittig, was brilliant in this, in the sense that she examines that we've conceived and we have constructed these terms: man, woman. And we say a man is this and a woman is that. And we've done this for the purposes of heterosexual engagement, but not everybody's heterosexual. And so what happens is that if you fall outside of this, if you fall outside of these constructions, society doesn't take note of you. Society acts as if you do not exist. And societies have a way of punishing you, whether it's natural or not. Society has found ways to punish you for acting outside of this kind of binary, this expected binary that nature actually doesn't provide, right? So for example, if you are given the gender assignment at birth of boy, and you grow up and you play with dolls, right? You're going to have some censure, some deprivation, some sort of punishment of sorts, possibly by your parents, by your siblings, or somebody, right? And you're told immediately that's not acceptable, right? But why is that not acceptable? Really? Because you have a penis? I mean, really, is there supposed to be some sort of connection between the existence of what is between your legs, whether you're an innie or an outie, right? And what type of toys you like to play with? But we don't just gender toys, do we? What else do we gender? Everything. Colors. What's the boy color and what's the girl color for a baby?
Blue.
Boy is blue. Girls are?
Pink.
Why do we all know this?
Because this is what society tells us.
Exactly. Not only do we gender this, but we gender food. Right?
We gender music.
We gender music. I present as a man. And if you catch me going through the parking lot, listening to Justin Bieber, you're immediately going to put out some sort of category. And you're going to say, you're not really a man. There's something that you're not a man about, right? But if I was to present as a woman, and that's socially constructed woman, right, and listening to, say, Slayer.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love Slayer. Right? Right, the same kind of thing. What about drinks? Women have certain drinks, men have certain drinks. Right? If I go to a bar and you see me at the end of the bar sipping on a blue drink with a little umbrella, right? Not really a manly drink. I'm supposed to drink Jack and Coke or beer. Right? That's what men drink. Right? So we have all these codes. We have all of these codes. And these codes are supposed to tell us things. They're supposed to tell us what is between your legs and whether or not you're going to engage in heterosexual intercourse. Right? There is this nonverbal communication that's going on all the time, over and over and over again. We call them the codes of gender. Right? How you dress, how you walk, how you sit, how you stand, what you eat, what you drink, everything. Everything is a code. right? And it's this type of language which is supposed to tell us certain things about you. But you know what? It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't tell you a damn thing about me. It doesn't tell you anything about if I'm heterosexual or not. It doesn't even tell you if I am heterosexual, what kind of heterosexual I am. Am I a top or a bottom? Right? What kind of sex do I like? It doesn't tell you any of that. Right? But it's supposed to. But it doesn't. It's false. Right? It's false language. All right. Well, society then tells us that we need to punish people who break these codes of gender. And there's different ways that we punish people. We can deny them entry into social, give them any social status. We will deny them health care. We will deny them jobs. We will deny them access into colleges and universities. We will deny them access to housing. We will deny them any social standing whatsoever. Now, some of you might want to say, well, look, this is a free country. This is a capitalist society, right? You can hang out with who you want. You can associate with who you want. But what's the real problems with this? Right? What's the real problems with this?
A lot of, when you break these rules, you can't do what you want because what you want is barred to you by everything else.
By society.
By society.
By society.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, how it's a free country is loosely being based around being like we're free to love who we want to love, we're free to listen what we want to listen to, eat what we want to eat, but at the same time, we get punished for it. So
Right.
it's almost like an oxymoron in itself.
Exactly. So is it really free to do so or not? Right? No. At some real practical level, our freedom has been taken from us. Right? And we have to act as society tells us to act. Right? So here's what I want to do, though. I want to encourage you to take seriously some issues of transphobia. You know, people often hear the term phobia and they think fear, right? Homophobia, or fear of like homosexuals, or right? Fear is not exactly what we mean here, right? It's not like if you have a fear of dogs because you were bit by a dog when you were 6. People who are homophobic weren't bit by a homosexual at 6, usually. People who are transphobic weren't bit by someone who's a transgender at 6 or anything of that sort, right? What we typically mean by this is any sort of hatred, moral indignation, a sense of feeling that anybody who's not fitting within these codes of gender are somehow inferior, right? They're not inferior, right? What's between your legs, the size of the lumps that are on top of your chest, your chromosomes, your hormone levels, none of that tells me anything about who you are, right? Because you are something else. You are physically, these physical attributes, right? But you're something more than that. And so philosophically, what's important? Right? Philosophy wants to study the self. Philosophy wants to study the I and the spirit and the soul, whatever that thing is, right? Philosophy wants to know what is a good life, how to live a good life, how to interact with the world, what's the nature of reality. Well, look, the nature of reality is this. I'm going to lay it all out for you right away. Save you all 20 years of college. When it comes to gender, the nature of reality is that we all are our own gender. We are all our own biological sex. Nobody has the exact same with everything. Penises come in different sizes. Vaginas come in different sizes. Sometimes it's neither one nor the other. Who I am as a person is not dictated by that. How do I live a good life? It's not be dictated by that. Right? And I think that the foundation of where this transphobia comes from men, primarily. Men who need to prove their socially constructed masculinity, of what it is to be a man, for the purposes of their own heterosexual engagement. Right? It's homophobic at its very foundation. It's sexist at its very foundation. And as the statistics show, it's racist as well. Because those who suffer from transphobic violence typically are people of color. Right? The real consequences of all the transphobic violence. That's not to say, white, transgender people don't suffer violence or anything of that sort. Right? But if you take a look at some of the cases going on now, C.C. McDonald, right? These are all people of color. Right? Now we do learn every now and then about people like Brandon Tina, right? The trans man in was it Lincoln, Nebraska, I believe. Right? We do learn about these, but that doesn't change the real facts, right? In our society, we seem to think that those who are more important, those who are going to be taken note of, those who are going to make the news when they're harm are white people, right? We've seen this over and over and over and over again. We need to end it. We need to end it. A lot of you will accept that racism is wrong. A lot of you will accept sexism is wrong, especially when it comes to your binary of man-woman, right? Men should not dominate women, right? But sexism is more than that, because sex is more than that. If you're going to say racism and sexism is wrong, you have to. It is logically entailed that transphobia is wrong as well.